Hi, welcome to our acrylic pour. We are going to be making a 10 by 10 panel, and the colors we're going to be using are coal black, copper, heirloom, Algonquin, and casement. So in your instructions, one of the first things you need to do is you need to stir up your resin paint mix. So if you look here, when you first stir it up, you're going to get larger bubbles. So all you would do is take your stick and kind of just dab at them. We don't want a lot of bubbles. We're probably going to get a few on here, but that's okay. So you're going to stir it up. We stirred ours up a while ago. As you'll see in the instructions, let this sit for 10 minutes or so before you start doing your pour. Because letting it sit, some of the bubbles will dissipate or go away, and that's great. So you just want to stir them up, then just let it sit. So in the black one, I don't know if you can see sometimes the lighting, but I've got some bubbles here, so I'm just going to poke them with the tip of my stick, and that's all I'm going to do. So we have already given this a base coat of paint, so for your background. And Fusion carries Cell Enhancer. And what Cell Enhancer does is it adds almost like, what would we say, bubble look. Cells, yeah, but if they don't know what cells are, they're kind of like it almost looks like bubbles within your paint. We have added that to our casement and to our Algonquin. We didn't add it to all of it. If you were doing this on your own, you don't have to add Cell Enhancer to every color. However, if you want lots and lots of cells, you could add it to every color. So we've already done that for you. When you get your paint, it's already in the paint. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our base coat. And what the base coat does is it makes it slippery. And if you have a slippery surface underneath, the paint that we're going to pour on top of that is going to move easier. It's going to give it that you can have it flow in the direction you want. If you can just pour on to a painted base, but it's not going to flow as easily because of the fibers in the wood. Having that base coat is just going to make it that much slipperier. And Sandy's here too, so she might be interjecting every once in a while. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your paint, your black paint, and you're just going to pour it on your base.
In your kit, you'll get some craft paper.
Right, sorry. Yeah. Yes, you're going to get a big piece of paper. On half of it, you're going to do your work area, and then the other half, you're going to have to get 2 containers the same height, and that's where what it's going to dry on for 24 hours. So you have a big work area here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your large craft stick, and you're going to use the flat side, and it's almost like you're icing a cake, and you're just going to spread it around. And again, this is so that your surface is that much slipperier and your paint will move easier on your surface. If you don't get exactly every area, that's okay, because your other paints are going to fill in those areas. And you do want it going over the sides. So I think I've got most of it. You'll see I have a little bit left in the bottom. I could add a little bit more. If I see that, okay, in this corner I don't have enough, or this corner, add a little bit more, but save a little bit of it because you're going to be adding it to your other colors when you layer. So I'm going to just move this around. Okay, and then this is an important part, so just tap off any excess you have. You are going to...
Oh, did we lose our pin?
You were asked to have a pin. Okay. Oh, here, found it. Okay, the reason you have a pin is you're going to want to get down at eye level, and you want to look for bubbles. So Patty probably isn't going to be able to see this.
I can see them. Yep.
Okay, so there's a big bubble right here, so I'm just going to take my tip, and I'm just going to wiggle it around. So the little bubbles you don't have to be as worried about, but if you've got some bigger bubbles, you're going to want to get rid of those. Okay, all right, that looks pretty good. So now comes the fun part. You're gonna be taking your other paints and you're gonna be layering them into a cup. You could just dump them all one on top of each other, but then you won't get as much mixing of the colors on your canvas. So what you're going to want to do is either pour half or a third. Depends how many layers you want. If you want 2 layers of each, of course you're going to pour half. If you want 3 layers, you're going to pour a third. I think I'm going to do halves just because this cup is a little bit bigger. So I'm going to pour about half in of each color. So the copper is metallic, so it adds a really pretty element. And you can kind of do it in a ring, putting it in, or you just pour it in straight. And I had told you about the black. You don't want a lot of black. Black can be very overpowering with the other colors. So you just want to pour a little bit of that black in there. And then I'm going to start again. So I think I'm going to actually end up probably doing it in thirds. You don't have to do it in the same order either. You can mix up the order because once it goes onto your canvas or your panel, it's going to get mixed up anyway.
If you hear that camera sound, that's Sandy taking some pictures. We're not doing selfies all around here.
We're just taking some pictures so we can add it to the instructions. So there'll be, of course, you're watching the video, but you should have received a paper copy of instructions also. Okay, so I'm going to add my last bit. And again, if you have some left in the bottom, that's not a bad thing because you might want to add some dabs here and there after you're done to fill in areas. I don't even know if I'm going to end up using all of this. I think we've got quite a bit of paint here. I like the copper though, so I'm going to add a little bit more of it. And I'm just going to add like a tiny bit more of the black. Okay. It's called flip cup for a reason. So it doesn't matter where you put your cup. It could be in the center, it could be at a side. It doesn't really matter where you put it on. You're going to take it and you're going to flip it upside down. And you're going to wait about 10 seconds. And the reason you're doing that, as you can see on the cup, you can see all the colors moving down. You want those colors to be running down. If you take your cup off too soon, you're going to end up having a lot of that color just left in your cup.
Is your cup moving?
And yes, your cup will move because of this, the slippery surface. So you can see how the cup is moving on its own.
That's so fun.
It's very cool. Okay, now that's about 10 seconds. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tilt my cup up just a little bit, and then I'm going to move it in the direction I want my paint to go. And I'm just going to tap out. I'm actually going to leave that there.
Oh my goodness.
Do you see the cells coming? That's from the cell enhancer. So I'm now going to take this and I'm going to start tilting it. There's no right or wrong way. You can tilt it in any direction you want. As you tilt it, you're going to see more and more of the colors come through. I personally like seeing some of the negative space. Your negative space is your background. So I'm not going to cover my whole canvas or panel, but that is totally up to you as to what you want to do. Now I want to add a little bit of interest. So you would have gotten a wooden skewer. I'm going to take this skewer And I'm just gonna run it through some of this. So I'm gonna take some of my black. I'm gonna run it through.
And it's okay if the paint runs over the side
Yeah.
of the edge, because that's what you want.
So I'm gonna take. It's helpful to have a paper towel too. So like if you want to wipe your skewer in between, I'm gonna try to take a little bit more and bring it in. I'm gonna do this. This is totally what you want to do. This is kind of the fun part, that you get to see what you want to create. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a curve. I can bring a little bit more black in here. Okay, now I'm gonna tilt it some more. And as you tilt it, you're gonna see that these colors run even more. And you can see where I went through with the black, you can see that veining now.
Just watching the paint move is so...
It's kind of therapeutic, isn't it?
Oh, it's just beautiful. It's like slow motion.
So
I don't know if
now
the video is
you
gonna
can see your
capture it.
drippings here. You can
Oh.
add, okay, where's my pin? Okay, here's my pin. So I see I've got a bubble here. I want to just wiggle. I've got one here. So where you have those little ones.
What if you didn't pop those? What would happen?
It will dry as a bubble. It
Okay.
will dry hard.
Which is okay. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
too.
So now if you want, you can embellish it as you like. So you can see the drippings here. So let's say I want to add a little bit more black. I can take this and I can bring it in, and I can, bring it out however I like. So let's say I want some in here. I'm gonna just so you can play. Like, the nice thing with the resin, it doesn't dry really quickly, so you can have a little bit. The only thing I recommend is don't overwork it. Sometimes people tend to do a lot and then it becomes almost muddy because you have played with it so much that it doesn't have a lot of definition left. So I also could do this. Instead of using my wood skewer, I still have my little stir stick. I could take my little stir stick and use it. So I could do that.
And you probably, if you wanted more blue in there, you could probably add some more of that.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing a lot of the blue.
Yeah.
So that's a really good idea. I'm gonna add some blue in here so that I can And sometimes when you add your color, it's nice to follow the flow that's there. So like, I'm gonna follow how the movement in the paint's already there, so it doesn't look like it's really just blobbed on there. But what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm gonna add and then I'm gonna tilt it a little bit more, just so that this runs in. So, I still have quite a bit in here, so you can add as much as you like or as little as you like. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of white. this one's kind of curved here, so I'm going to follow that curve. And you'd think that there's not much left in the cup, but it doesn't take much. You know, there's quite a bit in there. So now I'm going to tilt it again. This is why it's really important to have a good workspace. So it's not running as much now.
But
Because,
still kind of fading right in, like it's...
yeah, because it's starting to dry a little bit. So I'm just going to help it out a little bit.
It looks like a different picture now than before you put the blue and the white on.
And again, it's
ever
totally
changing. It's just ever changing. It's so cool.
And again, it's your total preference, right? Just gonna bring this up. What do you think? Stop?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Or should I put a little bit of white?
That's up to you.
It's up to you.
It's your art.
Okay,
I thought it looked good before you put the blue and the white on too.
Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. So now you needed those 2 containers. You're gonna set it on there. You know, what's kind of nice, because we've already coated it with, or we've painted a base color black, is the drippings on the side. I don't think I'm gonna do much with them. I'm just gonna let them go, because then it carries around the side. You could run your finger like all around the edge, but that's gonna take all those colors and mash them together. I'm going to leave it so that you end up having the lines coming off the edge.
Oh, it's just
Okay.
amazing.
Now the last step you're going to want to do is heat brings out more cells. So if you use a blow dryer, have it on your hottest setting, and when you're going to want to use the lowest fan.
Okay, highest heat, lowest fan.
Yes. And I suggest you turn it on about 5 seconds for it to heat up before you use it. And you don't want to go super close, because that's just going to almost like dry it too much. You want to be, you know, a good 6 inches, and you're just going to go back and forth, just one swipe, and then, okay, I'm just gonna,
Is that cord gonna reach? It's not plugged in.
so I
Small technical difficulty.
okay,
Oh, there we
let it run
go.
about 5 seconds.
That's the lowest.
Yeah, I want it on the lowest, just for it to heat up. And then you're going to take it and you're just going to run it back and forth, because that's going to help to bring out more cells. And even when you come back in a couple hours, you're going to see that it's even changed shape more, and that more cells will come out in time.
I was just going to point, like, some of these cells that are coming out are like here. There's
Yeah.
nothing, and now it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see
Yeah,
them.
right in there.
Mhm.
That's a cell.
And again, you'll come back in a couple hours, and some of this movement will actually have changed. So you're going to leave this for 24 hours. Don't touch it. We've actually had this in the shop where people have been really interested and they've come and touched it. If I touch this now, where I touch it, it will show.
Yeah, don't
So
touch it.
just leave it. The only thing is, I see a bubble right here, so I'm just gonna poke at it. I don't want to move it too much now, because it's already starting to set with that heat. And Sandy, what do you think? Should they leave it about a week before they hang it if they're curing it? I'd say at least 2 days.
Yeah. Depending on how thick they leave the paint is on there will determine how hard or soft the paint is.
And look at this. Isn't this just even a pretty piece of art?
Even your drippings
I know,
here.
the drippings. Actually, some people, I have seen where some people take the drippings and they make it into jewelry. I don't know how they do that, but. So
Ooh,
you got to
look at
come
the
back and
bubbles.
look at the cells now. So as I can, like I said, even in 2 hours, you're going to come back and it's just going to look so different.
It's just beautiful. Good job.
So we hope you enjoy this workshop. It's a lot of fun. You can either phone the store to register, you can register on Facebook, or they can register online, right, Patty?
Yeah.
And there's not really a deadline for this one, but we are limited on the number of panels that we have for this workshop. Have a great day.
Thanks.